As an art teacher, do you find that you repeat yourself? As an art teacher, do you find that you repeat yourself? As an art teacher, do you find yourself repeating yourself? Hi there, if we haven't met before, my name is Katie Jarvis, and I am a K-6 elementary art teacher, and I teach at a Title I school just outside of Washington, D.C. Today I'm going to chat about repetition in your art class and repeating yourself, and what is the difference and how to stop repeating yourself. If you have watched my videos before, you'll know that my style of teaching involves a lot of repetition. In fact, I start my art classes the same each and every week. I have them come in, we do a greeting, we go over the rules. It's the same. It's comfortable. It's predictable to my students. It's very safe because they know what's going to happen. They know what's expected of them. They know what they're going to get from me. Same thing when we're lining up. At the end of class, we have a routine. I say the same things. It works the same way. And it moves like clockwork. I love these routines because they literally make my job easier. Now, I do have a lot of repetition because I'm going through these same routines throughout the day. So, for example, when I am giving cleanup directions, I have a system where my timer goes off, the students hear the timer, I blink the lights, catch everybody's attention, the energy kind of shifts, they know something is coming, and I have my microphone on that I wear when I'm teaching, and I loudly say macaroni and cheese. And I hold myself still when I say this, and my students respond, everybody freeze, and then they also hold still. I then say, and this is almost like a script, I say it every single day at the end of class, we're not walking, we're not talking. In a minute, but not yet. So I'm being very clear that everyone is to stay still. They're not going to walk, they're not going to talk, they're not going to move. And in a minute, there's some action that they need to take. Okay, so they know that this is a time for good, focused listening. I am saying this 5 times a day. I'm saying this 25 times a week. It's a lot of repetition, okay? I don't even want to know how many times I'm saying this in a school year, but it works because this repetition of this routine of this is when the important directions are about to come out of my mouth and this is what you need to do, it's the same. So they know, okay? They're ready for it. I'm not getting all these questions coming at me when we begin to clean up because everyone was still when I was giving those directions, okay? I was speaking loudly. I had my microphone on. Nobody was moving around and finishing their artwork and distracting themselves. Nobody was moving around the room and starting to clean up and distracting other people or distracting me so that I forget something. I've even gone so far as I teach my students that when we say freeze, if they are at the sink washing their hands, they have to turn the water off so that things are as quiet as possible and everybody can just focus in on listening and get ready to do that action. Be really sure that you are giving your directions loudly and clearly, that you are holding yourself still when you are giving directions, and that you are requiring that your students also hold their bodies still, and so that they can focus on just one thing, your directions. That way you are not repeating yourself over and over. Now, make sure in the first place that you are giving good directions. I feel like this is one of those things that they do not teach you in college. I have a video all about this called Do You Give Good Directions? And what I have found is that, and I hear it from other teachers. I find myself accidentally saying these kind of things sometimes. Sometimes teachers give very vague directions, okay? Or they really haven't taught what it means to clean the paintbrushes the right way or do a good job of lining up. Those aren't very, very clear if those things haven't been taught. So make sure you check out that video. It's something that can really help you improve your teaching when you're breaking down and thinking about, hey, I'm repeating myself a lot. Rewind. Is it because of my directions? Is it because of my student listening? What part of this can I fix? What you really want to make sure that you are avoiding is training your students not to listen to you, when you don't really speak up and take the floor, when you're kind of distracted and moving around as you give directions, and you're getting lots of questions from students and, oh, that's a really good question, I should tell everybody that. Hey, everybody, just another thing, and they're moving around. You're training them not to listen, especially if you're going to keep answering all these questions and you're going to keep helping them as they clean up or they're working. They don't need to listen to those initial directions if you are setting things up like that. So make sure that you're really leaning in to that whole main character energy and that you are being somebody that people want to listen to. Make sure that you're making your teaching interesting. It's going to make teaching more fun for you if you can engage those kids. So find what works for you. Are you into puppets? Can you do lots of different expressions? Can you use different voices? Can you add in some humor? Can you add in little funny sayings? I know the kindergartners were painting hearts today and their name tags were on one side. So we wanted them to turn it over and paint on the other side. So we said, have your name tag, kiss the table. And they just loved that. And they were leaning into listening to that because they thought it was so funny and it was so memorable that direction stuck in their brains, and I didn't have to keep repeating over and over to the kindergartners to flip their papers over. Make sure that you are setting up good listening routines. Now, this is hard because the number one thing that I hear from elementary teachers is that talking is the biggest deal in elementary art, and trying to control that with your students. Just letting them know, when is it their time to talk? When is it your time to talk? For me, I have a video that shares how I manage the talking. It's got a lot of really great tips in it. I like to start off each and every class with the Mona Lisa listening, like reset. I show the picture of the Mona Lisa. I say Mona, they say Lisa. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. I say check that your hands are still, that your eyes are forward, that your lips are zipped. I'm reminding them each and every time in that one sentence what Mona Lisa listening is, okay? It's a lot of repetition. I'm doing that kindergarten all the way to 6th grade. But then when I start teaching, I don't have to keep reminding them to be quiet because we've already set up that expectation. We've already said this is the definition of good listening in art. And if this isn't, you're not complying to what we're saying, then there are consequences. And I have my behavior management plan that goes along with that. I like to have a signal for them to be quiet when I am talking. So I have, when I'm teaching, a red zone and a yellow zone sign up. I have like a free printable on my Teachers Pay Teachers. You can just go ahead and grab that and try this out. It works really well for me. So red zone is when I'm talking, students are not allowed to talk. Red zone, like a stop sign, they can't talk. And yellow zone is when they are allowed to talk. So I would change the sign to yellow when they move back to their seats and they're working on their projects. I have listening routines for when I stop them, when they're in the middle of working. I have a bell that I ring. I say for my little kids, hands up and eyes up. I have my response where I say class, class, they say yes, yes, and then I'll jump into a direction if I need to do that within the middle of the class. To reinforce that, I will thank them for their good listening, but I have happy and sad points. That's my behavior management plan. And I will give them a point when they do really good listening and everyone stops, if I have to stop them as they're working. I try not to. I try to really give them a big chunk of time that they can work. But if I forget something or there's another detail that we need to add, that's how I do it. And I thank them for that each and every time. I have a quiet routine as we line up. We do a silent dismissal. So I have a color that I hold up for each table and they line up that way. I have a video that kind of details that routine if you want to know more, but there is a listening routine with that. They know that they have to be looking and they have to be silent for me to call their table, and that I'm not shouting out red table, yellow table, purple table. They have to be looking. So there's that routine that I'm not having to keep repeating purple table, purple table, purple table, line up, because I've got a sign above my head. I've already taught them that I will just be holding up that sign, that we're not saying anything. I'm not talking, they're not talking. It really works well. Try to think of some non-verbal clues that you can give to your students, like that red zone, yellow zone. If I get interrupted when I'm teaching, I will just stop and I will point to the red zone sign. And that just kind of pulls things back together. So it's a really great strategy for me. Other things that I'll do to not have to repeat myself is I will have directions with steps up on the board. Often, if there is a project with like a lot of different steps, I might have examples of each step up there and numbered. I might have a handout with photos that they can kind of follow along. I have videos that I use for teaching, and if there's a student where I'm just needing to repeat things to them, I can have them go and rewatch the video. I also utilize other students, and it's fine to have them be like a little mini art teacher helper and help you so that you are not repeating things as well. I sure hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please check out my channel. I have more than, I think, 115 videos now on elementary art room management designed to help make your job easier. I hope that you'll check it out and make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you in the next video.